In this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke embark on their greatest mission ever, to see what Kakashi's face actually looks like. Now, for all of you who are ready to dismiss this week's episode, calling it filler, calling it unnecessary, I actually really loved this week's episode of Naruto, and not just because it had good artwork and good animation and reusing a lot of the old music from the original Naruto series, which gave me a huge nostalgia buzz, but this was just a well-done, funny episode. And it is worth noting that this is not filler. This is actually a short story which was written by Kishimoto, and what's hilarious enough is that we actually do see Kakashi's face in this episode. At the very end, you get to see it completely uncovered. So before I go any further into my review, let me just say, big spoiler warning, if you have not seen this episode and you do not want to see Kakashi's face or know what it looks like, make sure to watch the episode first, then come back to this review, because there's a big twist in this episode, which, if you already read that short story, the manga that was written by Kishimoto, you know exactly where this episode is headed. But I really liked a lot of the directions they took with this one, because this is technically the second episode we've had with Naruto and his friends trying to figure out what Kakashi's face looks like. There was one that was way earlier in the series, which also had some pretty good animation and artwork as well, but this one definitely stood out as well, because not only was it Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, but it was all of their friends getting involved in this like big mission to try and figure out what Kakashi looks like. Not to mention they also got some help from this brand new ninja, a mysterious photographing ninja. That's right. Here's the big spoiler right here. That's Kakashi the entire time. That's right. Basically, Kakashi is just messing with his students in this episode, taking them on this big adventure to try and figure out what he looks like to hone their ninja skills. You don't know that it's Kakashi, though, because he is wearing a wig. He's got this, like, weird, like, face paint going down his face, not to mention his voice is completely different. But Kakashi is the ultimate ninja. He knows how to actually, like, pose as someone else, and that's what he does throughout this entire episode, even going as far as to creating a shadow clone of himself, which will make it seem as if Kakashi is there the entire time. And it's just really funny getting to see Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura work together to try and figure out what Kakashi looks like. They go as far as to actually going to this registration center where all of the ninja in Konoha have their picture taken. And the rule is, if you have your picture taken, you have to show your entire face. So it seems obvious they'd be able to see Kakashi here, but they end up getting caught by the Anbu. The next plan is a little more elaborate when they get all of their friends involved, where Naruto's going to transform into this woman who almost drowned in this river, and Kakashi's going to have to try and save her. The scene is funny because their original plan is that they're going to try and get Kakashi to do mouth-to-mouth to Naruto. And when he's getting ready to do that, the look on Hinata's face is great. She's so freaked out. She doesn't want to see this happen. It's hilarious. But Kakashi actually ends up picking up this woman and running to Konoha Village, where he's confronted by Choji and Ino and frickin' Shikamaru, and they try to use all of their combination attacks to try and stop him, and they actually manage to, especially thanks to Shino. And Ino's getting ready to take over his mind and actually try to take his mask off, but a frog conveniently jumps in the way like frickin' Captain Ginyu style, and she ends up switching minds with that and gets all freaked out in the body of a frog, and they're almost there. They are about to unmask Kakashi. Naruto reveals himself as the girl. The mask is about to come off when suddenly Rock Lee, Neji, and Tenten just arrive out of nowhere to cause a lot of trouble, and they end up freeing Kakashi, allowing him to escape. Although this was all a part of Kakashi's plan from the beginning. Hell, he even had another countermeasure. He had another mask underneath the mask. So Naruto and his friends are disappointed by the fact that they don't get to see Kakashi's face, but the viewer is not going to have to worry about that. At the very end of the episode, after being nearly caught by Might Guy, he decides to go into his house, wash off his face, and reveal himself as Kakashi. And basically, he looks identical to his father, except that he's just a little younger. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? Just a funny, pleasant episode of Naruto Shippuden. I will say that its placement is sort of just random as hell. Like, this has nothing to do with the Sage of the Sixth Path backstory, nothing to do with Kaguya. It's just a random, funny episode of Naruto Shippuden, and I guess they just needed to put some filler in there. They just needed to sort of pad this out just a little bit more, and usually I'd be disappointed by this stuff, but I'd be damned if this episode wasn't funny as hell. I really liked it. It really took me back to the old days of Naruto, especially the use of the old soundtrack, which just gave me such nostalgia. That's what I loved so much about this episode. It reminded me of the happier days of Naruto, when it was just a bunch of goofy ninja friends hanging out and going on adventures, aside from all of this weird, crazy, world-ending shit. Which is exciting, too. It's just very different, especially, like, in terms of the tone. The good news is, after this episode, though, next week we are going back to the battle with Kaguya. The animation and the artwork looks like it's going to be on point. It looks like we are this much closer to the conclusion of the series. My friends, the Naruto Shippuden anime is almost done. We're almost there. We are getting ready to enter the final battle of the series, and it's a really exciting time. The preview made it look like it's going to look really awesome with Naruto going up against Kaguya. I loved the colors. I loved the animation. I cannot wait for next week's episode. What I will say is, despite the fact that this week's episode was just completely random, Naruto fans should definitely check it out, especially for those who want to see Kakashi's face. Now, me personally, I never wanted to see Kakashi's face. I liked the fact that it was completely mysterious and that he was so, like, dedicated to his ninja way that no one actually knew what he really looked like. And I always wanted it to be that way at the end of the day, but even still, seeing Kakashi's face has not diminished my love of that character. I absolutely love Kakashi. He is my favorite character from the series, and he demonstrated that he's not only a badass ninja, but he's really, really funny, and he just loves to sort of mess with his students while giving them a lesson all at the same time. And that's what made this episode so fantastic right here. It was, frankly, a classic episode of Naruto Shippuden. It was just random as hell in terms of the placement of where we finally got it. I mean, we should have gotten this episode a long time ago. It's weird to get it now. But still, I liked it. It had good animation, good artwork, and lots of laughs. Not to mention lots of great classic cameos from our favorite characters from the Naruto series. So I'm going to give this episode right here, believe it or not, a 4 out of 5. A super solid episode, which the only reason I'm kind of disappointed by it because I just feel like the placement is a little weird. Despite that, this is a solid episode of Naruto Shippuden, and it had some great production value behind it. So Naruto fans, definitely check this one out. Kakashi fans, definitely check this one out if you want to see his face finally. So, there it is. That's my review on this week's episode. But before you guys leave, make sure to tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden in the comment section below. Are you excited to finally see Kakashi's face? What did you think of the big reveal? Did you actually read the manga before you watched this episode? Please tell me what you thought about this one and what you hope to see from the big conclusion of the Naruto Shippuden anime series. You guys are kick-ass! Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!